Morning, Manda. Today we are going to discuss about the calculation of synchronous impedance of synchronous generator or the alternator. Okay, in the previous class, we are studying about the theory that will be related to the how we calculate the synchronous impedance. That means the EMF method. Okay, that is also called as the EMF method. How we will conduct that EMF method? Okay, by conducting the OC and SC test on synchronous generator and alternator, then we will calculate the synchronous impedance. Okay, from the graph, we draw the OCC and the SCC characteristics, and then from the graph, we calculate the synchronous impedance of a synchronous generator or the alternator. Okay. Next, we will study about the synchronous motor. Okay, what is meant by the synchronous motor and what is the constructional parts are there in the case of a synchronous motor? Okay, that all will be discussed in this class. Okay, this is the OC and the SC characteristics. Okay, from the EMF method or the synchronous impedance method of an alternator. How will we draw that OCC characteristics? That means the OCC, when we are increasing the excitation to the alternator until voltmeter reaches the rated voltage or the above 125% voltage. Okay, after that we note down the readings of voltmeter and the ammeter when the open circuit is there. When the open circuit is there and we are applying the excitation to that alternator until the voltmeter reaches the 125% of rated voltage. After that, we are calculating the field current and the no load voltage, that is VOC. Okay, we are note down the field current and the no load voltage, that is the VOC. Okay, clear, ma? Okay, by conducting the OC test, we note down the IF and the VOC and then we draw the curve. Okay, this curve is called as the OCC curve, that is the open circuit characteristics curve. Okay, after drawing that OCC curve and then we conduct the SC test. How we will we conduct the SC test? Then short circuited the terminals and then we increase the excitation until the ammeter reads the rated current. Okay, after reaching that rated current, then note down the readings of field current versus short circuit current. Okay, then we note down the reading of field current versus short circuit current. Okay, after noting down the field current and the short circuit current, then we draw the SC characteristics. Okay, this is the SC characteristics, that is the short circuit characteristics. Okay, that is VOC, ISC and IF. After drawing the OCC and the SCC characteristics, then how to calculate the synchronous impedance of an alternator? Okay, from the plot of OCC and the SCC characteristics, VOC and ISC corresponding to the field current, IF1 is identified and the ratio of this VOC to the ISC is defined as the synchronous impedance, that is the ZS. Okay, therefore ZS is equal to VOC at I full load by ISC at same IFL. We are considering the one point that is called as the IF point at the same point, that is IF1. At the same IF1 point, we note down the ISC current and then VOC current. Okay, that is called as the Z. Okay, normally what is the formula of Z? Z is equal to V by I. Okay, what is the formula for impedance? That is Z. Z is equal to the V by I. Okay, when that voltage will be calculated at IF1, VOC is noted down at IF1. Okay, then taking that IF1 point and project this line. Okay, and then it is the VOC. At this point, we are considering that is the ISC. Okay, then we easily calculate the synchronous impedance, that is the ZS. Synchronous impedance, that is the ZS. Okay, from obtained the synchronous impedance ZS, the synchronous reactance XS is also calculated with the value of armature resistance RA. Okay, by note down the armature resistance RA, and then we calculate the XS. Okay, and then we calculate the XS. XX means the synchronous reactance. Okay, clear ma? XS means the synchronous reactance. Therefore, XS is equal to the synchronous reactance. Then, what is the formula for impedance? That is Z. Therefore, normally Z is equal to square root of R square plus X square. R square plus X square. And from this equation, we are calculating the XS, that is the synchronous reactance. From this equation, okay, we are calculating the XS, that is the synchronous reactance. Therefore, XS is equal to the square root of ZS square minus RA square, where ZS is the VOC by ISC. Okay, therefore, and then we calculate that RA value, and then we easily calculate the XS, that is the synchronous reactance. Okay, due to this synchronous reactance ZS, there is a fall in the terminal voltage. Okay, due to that ZS, there is a fall in the terminal voltage when the load on the alternator is increases from no load to full load. Okay, from the load on the alternator is increases from no load to full load. Therefore, due to the synchronous impedance ZS, the terminal voltage is reduced. Due to synchronous impedance ZS, the terminal voltage ZS is the terminal voltage is reduced when the load will be shifted from no load to full load. Okay, if the load will be shifted from no load to full load, due to the synchronous impedance, that is the ZS, okay, the terminal voltage is reduced. Okay, clear ma? From OC test and the SC test, we draw the graphs. Okay, OCC curve is drawn in between the VOC to IF. After that, the SC test is SC curve is drawn between the ISC to the IF. Okay, and then we measure we are taking the one point, that is the IF1 point, by projecting this point from OCC to the OCC curve, SC curve to the OCC curve. Then we note down at particular point what is the VOC value and what is the ISC value, and then we calculate the Z. Okay, therefore, what is the formula for Z? Z is equal to V by I, that is VOC by ISC. Okay, after calculating the Z, we calculate the XS. Okay, what is the formula for XS? Therefore, XS is equal to the square root of ZS square minus RS square. Therefore, XS is equal to the square root of ZS square minus RA square. Okay, due to the synchronous impedance ZS, there is a fall in the terminal voltage. There is a fall in the terminal voltage when the load on the alternator is increases from no load to the full load. Okay, if the load on the alternator is increases from no load to the full load, then this value will be increases. Okay, clear ma? Next, the difference of voltages from no load to the rated voltage is expressed in terms of the rated voltage. Okay, this is the formula for the voltage regulation. Okay, what is the formula for voltage regulation? No load to the full rated voltage by rated voltage into 100. Okay, E is the no load voltage and V is the rated voltage. Okay, it is the difference between the no load voltage to the full load voltage by full load voltage into 100. Okay, this is the definition for that percentage of voltage regulation. Therefore, the percentage of voltage regulation is defined as it is the difference between the no load voltage to the full load voltage to full load voltage into 100. Okay, in this case, E is called as the no load voltage in volts and V is called as the rated voltage. Therefore, the no load voltage is calculated using the above defined formula. Okay, after the values that is excess from that point. Okay, therefore, what is the formula for E? Okay, that is equal to V cos phi plus IA RA whole square plus V sin phi plus or minus IA excess whole square. Okay, this is already known that the voltage regulation formula minus V by V. Okay, therefore, this regulation is estimated from the calculation of EMF values. Hence, the method is known as the EMF method or from the calculation of the synchronous impedance method value. Hence, called as the synchronous impedance. Hence, called as the synchronous impedance. Okay, clear? Okay, this is the formulas from the synchronous impedance method, regulation and the impedance and the synchronous reactance formulas. Okay, by using the EMF method. Okay, first of all, EMF method is also called as the synchronous impedance method. Okay, clear ma? How we will be conduct that method? Okay, from the OC and the SC test, we determine the ZS, XS and also the regulation. How we will be conduct that OC and the SC test? Okay, when we are connecting the circuit and open circuited, then the excitation is increases until the voltmeter reaches the 125% of the rated voltage, and then note down the readings for that ammeter and the voltmeter. Okay, and then we draw that OCC curve. Okay, after that we conduct the SC test. How we will be conducted? That will be conducted on the short circuit side. Therefore, we increases the excitation until the ammeter reaches the rated value, and then we note down the IF versus ISC. Okay, and then we draw the SCC curve. Okay, after drawing the OCC and the SCC curve, we are taking the one particular point, that is the IF1 point. Okay, at this point, what is the ISC current and what is the VOC voltage? Okay, after the note down that values, then we easily calculate the ZS. Okay, therefore, what is the formula for ZS? That is VOC by ISC. Okay, after calculating the Z, then we calculate the X value. Okay, what is the formula for X? Therefore, X is equal to square root of Z square minus R square. Square root of Z square minus R square. Okay, after calculating the Z and the X values, then we narrow down the in the regulation formula. What is the regulation formula? E minus V by V into 100. Okay, in this case, E is the no load voltage and V is the full load voltage. Okay, after calculating that regulation, what is the main basic formula for that E? That is the E is equal to square root of V cos phi plus IARA plus V sin phi IARA whole square, IAXS whole square. Okay, this is the formula for that voltage regulation. Next. Coming to the synchronous motor. Okay, coming to the synchronous motor. It may be recalled that DC generator can be run as a motor. In like manner, an alternator may operate as a motor by connecting its armature winding to a three-phase supply. Okay, it is called as the synchronous motor. Okay, therefore, the alternator may be operated as a motor. Okay, therefore, the alternator may be operated as a motor by connecting its armature winding to a three-phase supply. Okay, by connecting its armature winding to a three-phase supply. Therefore, it is called as a synchronous motor. Therefore, it is called as the synchronous motor. Okay, as the name implies, the synchronous motor run at the synchronous speed, that is Ns is equal to 120 F by P. Okay, what is the formula for that synchronous speed? That is Ns. Ns is the synchronous speed. Ns is equal to 120 F by P, where F is the supply frequency. F is the supply frequency. And P is the number of poles. P is equal to the Number of poles. Ns is the synchronous speed, that will be equal to 120 F by P, where F is the supply frequency and P is the number of poles. Okay, the synchronism with the relative field is produced by the three-phase supply. When we are giving the three-phase supply to the three-phase armature winding, then revolving field is produced in the three-phase supply. Therefore, the speed of rotation is therefore tied to the frequency of source. Therefore, the speed of rotation is equal to the frequency of source. Since the frequency is fixed, the motor speed stays the constant irrespective of the load or the voltage. If the frequency is fixed and the motor speed is also constant irrespective of the load and the voltages. Okay, therefore, the synchronous motor are not used so much because they run at a constant speeds. Why? Because this type of motors does not be used rarely means that it is a constant speeds. Okay, but because they possess their other unique electrical properties. For that reason, the synchronous motor are rarely used. Okay, what is the construction for that synchronous motor? Okay, therefore, a synchronous motor is a machine that operates at a synchronous speed and converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Therefore, the synchronous motor is a machine, okay, that operates at a synchronous speed. Okay, that will be operate at a synchronous speed and converts electrical energy into the mechanical energy. Okay, clear ma? And converts electrical energy to the mechanical energy. It is fundamental and alternator operate as a motor. Okay, it is operate as a motor. Okay, therefore, a synchronous motor has the following two parts. Okay, therefore, constructionally, the synchronous motor has the two parts. Stator, which is housed the three-phase armature winding in the slots of the stator core and receives the power from the three-phase supply. And the rotor, okay, that has a set of silent pole excited by the DC to form the alternate north and the south poles. Therefore, this is the stator and this is the rotor. Okay, therefore, the stator is giving to the three-phase AC supply armature winding. Okay, in this case, we are having the number of slots. Okay, therefore, in that slots, we are having the stator core and receives the power from the three-phase supply. Okay, clear ma? And receives the power from the three-phase supply. Therefore, the rotor that has a set of silent pole excited by a DC to form the alternate north and the south poles. Okay, therefore, the rotor has a set of silent poles. Okay, and having the excited by a DC, and then it will be excited by the DC supply and having the north and the south poles. Okay, clear ma? Okay, this is the constructional view of a synchronous motor. Okay, in this case, we are considered that is the four-pole mission. Okay, therefore this is the two north poles and the two south pole. Okay, this is the rotor. Okay, the rotor consisting of the poles, that is the north and the south pole. Okay, this is the stator. Therefore, the three-phase supply is given to the three-phase stator winding. Okay, it consisting of a number of slots like this. Okay, these are the slots. Okay, this is the slot, this is the slot, this is the slot, and this is the slots. Okay, we are having the number of slots. Okay, each and every slot having the conductors. Okay, each and every slot having the conductors. Okay, this is constructionally the synchronous motor having the two parts, that is the stator, and this is the first part of a mission, and this is the rotor. Okay, stator means the stationary part and rotor is the rotating part. Okay, therefore the stator consisting of a number of slots. Okay, this is the number of slots. Okay, each and every slot having the number of conductors. Therefore, the three-phase supply is given to the three-phase stator winding. Okay, clear ma? Next, this is the rotor. This is the 4-pole structure rotor, that is 2 north poles and the 2 south poles. Okay, this is the yoke that will be used to give the support for this mission. Okay, clear? The exciting coil is located on the rotor shaft, are connected in series to the 2 slip rings. In series to the 2 slip rings, and DC is fed into the winding from an external excited. Okay, therefore the stator is wound for the number of poles and the rotor poles and its speed of rotation, that is the that will be rotated in the speed of a synchronous speed. Okay, therefore the synchronous speed that is indicated by the ns. Okay, therefore ns is the synchronous speed. Therefore, what is the formula for that ns? That is ns is equal to 120 f by p. Ns is the synchronous speed and f is the supply frequency and p is the number of poles. Okay, clear ma? And p is the number of poles. An important drawback of a synchronous motor is that it is not a self-starting. An auxiliary mean have to be used to start it. Okay, therefore the synchronous motor is not a self-starting. Okay, therefore we are using the auxiliary means that have to be start that motor. Okay, by separate source or separate mission. Okay, we are starting that synchronous motor. Okay, therefore it is not a self-starting mission. Okay, therefore the mission is operated at a speed of synchronous speed, that is ns. Therefore ns is equal to 120 f by p. Next, silent fuel features of a synchronous motor. Okay, what are the silent features are there in the case of a synchronous motors? Okay, the synchronous motor runs only at the synchronous speed. Therefore, the synchronous motor is run only at the synchronous speed, or it does not run at all. Okay, therefore its speed is constant. That is the synchronous speed at each and every load conditions. If the loads will be changes, it does not change the speed. Okay, therefore the synchronous motor can be made to operate over a wide range of power factors, lagging, unity or leading, by adjusting of its field excitation. By adjusting the field excitation, okay, we are using the synchronous motor can be made to operate over a wide range of power factors, that is lagging, leading and the unity power factors. Therefore, the synchronous motor can be made improve the power factor of the system. Okay, therefore by using this synchronous motor, we improve the power factor of the system also. Okay, when the power factor improvement is required, in that case we are using the synchronous motor. Okay, by adjusting the field excitation, okay, we are using for various wide range of power factors. Therefore, the synchronous motors are generally of silent pole type. The synchronous motors are generally having the silent pole type. Okay, therefore, synchronous motor is not self-starting and auxiliary means have to be starting it. Okay, next. What is the operating principle? Okay, the fact of the synchronous motor has no starting torque. Okay, therefore it having no starting torque. That's why we are using the another equipment for starting that motor. Okay, then this motor is not a self-starting motor. Okay, its motor is not a self-starting motor. Consider a three-phase synchronous motor having the rotor poles, that is the NR and the SR. Then the stator will also be wound for 2 poles, that is the north and the south poles. The motor has direct voltage applied to the rotor winding and 3-phase voltage is applied to the stator winding. Okay, therefore the 3-phase supply voltage that will be given to the stator. Okay, this is the stator and this is the rotor. When the 3-phase supply is given to the 3-phase stator winding, and alternating flux is produced, the rotating magnetic field is produced. Therefore, the rotor will be rotated, but it is not a self-starting mission. Okay, therefore, the stator winding produces the rotating field, okay, which revolves round the stator at a synchronous speed. Okay, therefore, the stator is rotated at a revolves the round the stator at a synchronous speed. Okay, therefore, the direct or the zero sequence currents are set up at the two pole fields which is stationary as long as the rotor is not running. Okay, if the rotor is not running, that is the zero frequency, in that case the current is set up at a two pole field windings. Okay, therefore the current that will be set up in the two poles of a field windings. Okay, thus we have a situation in which there exists a pair of revolving the armature conductors. Okay, we are having the armature conductors, that is the north to south pole and south to south pole, and north pole to south pole. Okay, this is the rotor, that is the stationary rotor poles. Suppose at any instant the stator poles are at position A and the B. Okay, at any instant the stator poles are at the A and the B positions. Okay, it is clear that poles NS and NR are repel. Why? Because this will be repel. Same poles will be repelled to each other and opposite poles are attracted to each other. Okay, that will be observed in this figure. Okay, in this rotation, that same poles will be repelled to each other. Okay, in this figure, the opposite poles are like this. Okay, therefore it will be attracted to each other. Therefore, there is a small rotation that will be obtained in the mission. Okay, this is the basic introduction about the synchronous motor. Okay, in the next class we discuss about the what is the working principle of that synchronous motor and how many types of that motors are there, that all will be discussed in the next class. Okay. Okay, thank you. We continue in the next class.